Hi, everybody, and welcome to August. What a beautiful way to start off the 8th month. It's just been another run of some beautiful weather, but we're going to see some storms roll in throughout some of your weekend. It's going to be stormy and then maybe steamy for the first full week of August. School is just about to start 1 week from today. Well, by this time, students and staff will be winding down from their first day back to class in McGoffin County. Other schools starting, of course, at different times, but we'll be talking about that throughout next week. And then I'll have a great deal of school-related announcements on our calendar next week as well. Top headlines for this first day of August include a serious two-car collision that happened on a very congested stretch of the Mountain Parkway, technically 114 here in Sagersville in front of Restaurant Row earlier today. I'll take you to the scene and talk about 3 people who were sent to the hospital. One, an elderly woman from McGoffin County who is in very serious condition, critical at that, in the intensive care unit this evening. I'll talk about that accident. We will wish, she's not a native, but she may as well be. We'll just call her family, Miss Teen USA Indiana in the Bahamas, with a host of other young ladies. I'll tell you the crown they're vying for, how you can watch it live tonight and tomorrow, and, well, about her roots here in McGoffin County. Very strong at that. A couple of sentences in relation to a Painesville pain clinic, and I didn't get time to complete it, but we'll take a look at least of the new blacktop going down, the first part of the servicing for the new track around the football field at the new McGoffin County High School Athletic Complex. All that and much more before I leave you. Ella Hayden, if you're watching, I want to thank you for doing so. Little birdie told me that one of our most avid viewers, and that she can't wait for the news to roll around to find out what's happening. I want to thank you so much for being a part of the program, and we wish to hope to have you here every weeknight at 6 and or 7 or 11, whichever show you're watching. Now, for those of you who are watching through the Foothills feed, we understand we've been having some problems for the past couple of days, and I'm told that they are working on that, and it's something that I simply can't wrap my head around. I know during the 7 o'clock program, for a lot of viewers, there was no video but audio last night. But at 11 o'clock, there was both. And the 11 o'clock show is merely taped from the 7 o'clock show. It's a little over my head, but they are working on it. We apologize and hope to have that situation fixed for you very, very soon. Getting to headlines before we talk about local news this evening. This just in from the Kentucky Public Service Commission, who says today the organization, or entity I should say, has approved a plan that's going to enable Kentucky Power to continue generating electricity at the Big Sandy plant. It's going to do so by converting the smaller of its 2 coal-fired units to run on natural gas. The decision does not affect plans to close the larger unit by June of next year. The Big Sandy plant, of course, is located near Louisa in Lawrence County. In the order issued today, the PSC said that conversion of the unit is the most cost-effective way for Kentucky Power to meet its generation needs, and also, quote, preserves a viable generating plant operating within the Commonwealth, thus retaining some of the current employees and supporting the local tax base. Kentucky Power is converting Big Sandy Unit Number 1 in order to meet stricter federal air quality requirements to reduce emissions of mercury and other toxins. Without the conversion, the 278 megawatt unit would have to be shut down in April of next year. The Public Service Commission said that converting Big Sandy Unit 1 also permits Kentucky Power to diversify its fuel supply and thus be less vulnerable for future regulatory or economic changes targeted at a single fuel source. After Kentucky Power determined that it made no economic sense to retrofit the 50-year-old Big Sandy Unit 1 to meet stricter air quality standards in order to continue burning coal, the company analyzed a number of options for replacing its generating capacity. Those included purchasing power on the open market and eventually building a new natural gas-fired plant. At a cost, I'm told, according to the report I have in hand by the Public Service Commission, of $50 million, the coal-to-gas conversion of Big Sandy Unit 1 proved to be the most reasonable and lowest cost option and will have the lowest impact on rates. In addition, it says to converting the unit, which will reduce its capacity from 278 megawatt to 268, the plan calls for construction of a natural gas pipeline to the facility. Columbia Gas Transmission Company will build and operate the pipeline and will recover the $49 million cost from Kentucky Power over a 15-year period. And the coal to gas conversion of Big Sandy Unit 1 is the final piece, it says, of Kentucky Power's restructuring of its electric generation portfolio. The PSC last year, of course, as I covered, authorized Kentucky Power to purchase a 50% interest in the Ohio Power Company's Mitchell Power Plant. And that, of course, has been a significant increase in your and my power bill over the past several months since the first of the year. For the last 2 months myself, it's amounted to about $70 and $60 respectively. The 780 megawatts of coal-fired capacity at Mitchell will replace the 800 megawatt Unit 2 at Big Sandy. Well, let's go on to the scene of that two-car accident that happened earlier today. I myself was very nearby, like a whole lot of other in the area, and some eyewitnesses. For myself, Andrew and I were actually just wrapping up lunch on the patio at Dairy Queen when a large crash, and I can tell you I have heard a few crashes in my time. This perhaps the most significant in just overall sound in that particular facet. And immediately upon turning to the direction of where it was originating from, we saw two vehicles just coming to a final rest after they collided in a direct T-bone fashion in front of the Advanced Auto Parts here in Sagersville.
It was truly a violent sounding collision. I and a host of others who were nearby, a lot of yard sales, a lot of traffic in this area today, many rushed to their aid to try to see if they could help, after a red truck operated by Brenda Williams of Sagersville collided with another pickup truck, a Ford Ranger being driven by Frank Whitaker, with his wife, Maxine, by his side. Frank and eyewitnesses told police that Williams was pulling into the Advanced Auto Parts store and did so by pulling into the path of Whitaker, with no time for Frank, as he described, to even try to apply a brake. The severity of the impact is seen by the force of the collision, and I'll get a better shot here in a moment of just exactly, but you can see obviously the severe damage done to the Whitaker's vehicle here in front. The majority of the collision or impact happening on the side that Maxine was riding in. Here you can see where her head went into the windshield and pushed it out to the tune of 3 to 4 inches. As for the other vehicle, the offset from the bed and to the cab of the truck, you can see all of the collision right there directly focused into the cab. No one in the passenger seat, fortunately, but you can see just how much force there was in the impact between the two vehicles. From what we understand, Williams was traveling away from Sagersville and pulling into the parking lot. The Whitakers, according to Frank and eyewitnesses, were going towards the direction of Sagersville. Neither of the three occupants appeared to be wearing any seatbelts. Maxine suffered serious head injury. Here's another look at the cab and the bed there. She did lose consciousness. She suffered some head trauma. She also, it was obvious, you could see by the damage to the vehicle where her knees had caved in the glove box. She had hip injuries and was complaining of severe abdominal pain as well. Frank was less injured. He was alert. He remembered the entire event, says he didn't lose consciousness and really had only minor obvious injuries, which would be remarkable if that's all he had upon being taken to the hospital. Williams was semi-conscious most of the time in her vehicle until she was packaged and placed in a neck brace and then put on a backboard and into an ambulance. The first TransStar ambulance arrived on scene within just moments of the collision, the second not until 2:05, and the third at 2:20. Maxine was taken in one of those ambulances to a landing zone established just a few hundred feet away behind the subway here in Sagersville, a landing zone set up by the Sagersville Fire Department and Montgomery County Rescue Squad, both of which responded to the accident. She was taken from there by helicopter to the Pikeville Medical Center. My last report was that she was in intensive care in critical condition. I'm waiting on a few phone calls to be returned. We may have some more to add in regards to the investigation into how it happened and, more importantly, the condition of those involved, especially Mrs. Whitaker. If we get any additional information before we leave you, of course, I'll have that in just a few moments. For now, let me pause for a commercial break. I'll be right back. Faster, friendlier, family-owned Parkway Pharmacy, open 8:30 till 6:30 Monday through Friday in the new McGoffin Medical Plaza under the care of local pharmacist Jesse Rudd. To make Parkway Pharmacy your pharmacy, come by or give us a call at 349-4400.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up the stripe. up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is when he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Superior selection and superior service is what you'll find at Hutch, along with the best price on that new Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, Yukon, Enclave, Terrain, Regal, Camaro, and all other new Chevys, GMCs, and Buicks. Drive your trade-in on over or check out HutchChevrolet.com. And coming soon, Hutch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Isn't it time to buy Hutch? Get ready and get set to go to the 11th Annual Magoffin County Community Day Celebration, Saturday the 16th at the Ramey Park in Salyersville. It's the only place to be to see Larry Sparks and the Lonesome Ramblers and be among the very first to get his new CD marking 50 years in bluegrass. Plus, Blue Highway, Mountain Heart, Atkinson Loudermilk, Turning Ground, Hidden Steel, Black Powder Express, and the Dixie Bridge Band in the Bridge's final performance ever, all for only $10, plus chances to win cash, prizes, even a car, and some of the best food you could feast on. So get your tickets now at either location of the Salyersville National Bank and get your blanket or lawn chair, your friends and family to Community Day 2014. I guess she always knew. Get ready, baby, or get baby ready with a simply adorable selection at the seasonal shop with bibs and blankets and bags, onesies and jammies, the cutest of outfits and matching accessories for Thing 1, Thing 2, or Thing 3. Hooded bath towels by Zucchini, bubble bath paints, blocks, bears, puzzles, picture frames, and shelves and shelves and shelves more. Find an absolutely perfect gift for the most precious of gifts at Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop in downtown Salyersville. Wheel alignments, oil changes, brakes, suspension work, and tires. Thousands of tires by all the major manufacturers, all in stock and at incomparable prices. All backed with 33 years of service and experience, the area's largest tire selection, and 6 months no interest at Conley's in Paintsville. Regardless of where you want to ride, you can be riding on a brand new Kawasaki or Polaris for less at M&M Power Sports in Staffordsville. New Kawasaki's for the dirt, the street, or both, and ATVs and side-by-sides for every stage of enthusiasts to fish, hunt, haul, or play. And with rebates up to $1,300 and financing as low as 3.99%, it's never been easier to ride it, buy it, and start your next adventure at Kentucky's Power Sports Authority since 1964, M&M Power Sports.
Two Eastern Kentucky pain clinic owners who previously admitted to conspiring with doctors to illegally dispense more than 50,000 prescription pills were officially sentenced to federal prison earlier today. This relates to 41-year-old Tammy Cantrell of Oil Springs and 52-year-old Shelby Lackey of Williamsport, Kentucky.
This January of 2011 video of a raid, the raid that started it all, is part of the story. A story that now has led to U.S. District Judge Multipar sentencing Cantrell to 108 months, Lackey to 97 months for conspiracy to distribute and unlawfully dispense oxycodone and maintaining a drug-involved premise. In total, Cantrell, Lackey, and one of their co-defendants have forfeited more than $1.1 million as proceeds of the conspiracy. At the time of their guilty plea in April of last year, Cantrell and Lackey were the first pain clinic owners of the Eastern District of Kentucky, which is 67 counties, to have federal convictions for such charges. According to the plea agreements, the defendants owned and operated Caremore Pain Management located in Paintsville, and from 2008 through February of 2012, they conspired with two doctors to dispense oxycodone to Eastern Kentuckians without a legitimate medical purpose. Specifically, court records state that the doctors performed little or no physical examination before writing prescriptions that were usually for 90 Percocets. Patients paying $200 in cash for the initial visit and $185 in cash for subsequent visits thereafter. Seeing 40 to 50 patients a day, Cantrell and Lackey paid the doctors as much as $8,500 a week. The clinic didn't take insurance, and the doctors didn't make referrals for physical rehabilitation. and neither Cantrell nor Lackey are medically certified, and neither have any nursing experience. In June of 2013, last year, Dr. Richard Albert, whose clinic was seen here, was sentenced to 75 months in federal prison for his role in the conspiracy. Another Dr. Ronald Bofield pleaded guilty to conspiracy earlier this year. He is awaiting sentencing.
Still at least 2 more top stories and possibly an update on that auto accident coming in just a few moments. Right now, let's see what's on tap for this weekend and a little thereafter on tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau sponsored community calendar.